Shayna Melissa takes us on this ride from suffering to a life so free. Her healing touch, she'll set you free. Hey, ladies, autoimmune warriors, MS warriors. Are you guys waking up tired, walking in a room, forget what you were going for, what were you going to say? Over the years, you feel like maybe you're getting weaker, but you're in more pain. Perhaps your irritable bowels are getting irritable. And you know what? These are often way more than signs of just getting older. And today we're going to talk with people who have walked the walk that'll take you from mere surviving to truly thriving. I am Shayna Melissa, the autoimmune expert. I empower mostly ladies to get better and feel better from those symptoms when their doctors and meds don't, even while reducing or eliminating their reliance on those medications. Today we have a very special guest. I also offer in-person and online classes, courses, workshops, book signings, and private confidential video consultations like this. Today we have a very special guest, Miss Kristen Marie. She's a yoga instructor, a wellness advocate, and an optician for well over 20 years. Like myself, she too was diagnosed with MS many years ago, and we both left the traditional sick care system to advocate for wellness, what is right, and to truly address the root causes. Miss Kristen Marie, all the way from AZ, how are you doing today?
Thank you so much. I love that. Thank you. It's been wonderful. I'm so happy to be on here.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I see all these eyeballs on us. Guys, please drop us hashtag live, hashtag replay, where you're tuning in from. We're going to have the capabilities today to stream your comments and hearts and questions live across the screen and answer them in real time. So please drop the comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from. So Kristen, thanks again for being in here. And, just to give the viewers a glimpse, we just recently met, but I didn't realize you knew me for like a couple of years, right? Before you even reached out? What was that about?
I found you a couple of years ago, and I've been following you for a couple of years now. And I just really loved I thought you were so knowledgeable, and you are just so knowledgeable. And I just love that you're an RN. And that you've taken your health into your own hands, and you've just really inspired me. So I'm absolutely honored to be on your show today. This is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And Kahina, I hope I pronounced that right, in Michigan. And we have Sovereign Joe, Virginia, happy to be here. Support my soul sisters. And we have Elizabeth. Hello, ladies. So thank you guys for dropping. We have George in Indiana. Woohoo! All right. Thank you guys for tuning in and participating. Drop your comments, your questions here. Kristen, thank you for reaching out to me after 2 years. We want the viewers to not wait 2 years before you reach out to us. Please. That could be 2 more years that you guys are suffering with symptoms and not getting better and feeling better. Reach out to people like us. We have truly walked the walk. Listen to this. Kahina, this is exciting. Love Kristen and her amazing story of recovery. Yes, we're going to get into that right now. Kristen, we're going to start diving deep in here. Now, there's over 100 different autoimmune disorders. And for those viewers that don't realize it, it's one of the top leading causes of death in young to middle-aged women. There's over 100 of them, and a lot of us have different symptoms than other people. That's why most ladies are not diagnosed correctly for years. We blow it off as just signs of aging. Kristen Marie, can you share with us some of the symptoms, your initial symptoms you had? Because some of the viewers may have had some of these symptoms and not know they too are suffering from an autoimmune disorder.
Absolutely. So one of the first things was extreme fatigue. Extreme fatigue for years.
Yes.
I would just be laid out. I actually also, a little ashamed to say this, but I fell asleep at the wheel one time because I was so tired, and I got into a little accident It was in the morning, and it was that stop and go traffic. And I was just so tired. I would have to sometimes stop and just pull over and rest my eyes. I would have to stop and get some horrible, for me, energy drink, or just something, just to get from point A to point B. I couldn't even do that without stopping and pulling over. And like I said, I got into a little fender bender years ago. So things like that, just extreme fatigue. And then 11 years ago, I was diagnosed with MS because optic neuritis. So my optic nerve was affected and hemorrhaging and inflamed. And so I immediately was sent to a neuro-ophthalmologist who then ordered the MRIs and diagnosed the MS. So that was caught early. That's one of the early signs of MS. Yes. So I'm very grateful that it was that, and that I was able to catch it early.
I think also maybe you were diagnosed sooner because you were in the health field too, as well. So you're already working for an optician who's already referring you to the correct ophthalmological neurologist or whatnot. So that's great. And I know fatigue, a lot of, especially the women, we blow it off like, hey, we're just working too much. We have kids. We have too many jobs. We're getting older. So it's important to know that the symptoms could be vague and they could be different, your symptoms versus my symptoms. And with MS especially, depending on which part of the brain is affected, we may have different symptoms. But some of the common symptoms of autoimmune disorder, like Kristen Marie said, are the fatigue. That is a huge one. And it could be vision changes. For me, I also had pain. Severe pain out of proportion to what I should be having. I had weird rashes that would come and go when they wanted. I had thinner hair. I was gaining weight, which was raising my sugars, my blood pressure. I had IBS symptoms. No matter how much I slept, I was tired. I was in pain. So ladies and a few gentlemen that are on here, we want you to know, please, please, please go to a licensed healthcare provider, get your symptoms checked out. A lot of times the doctor will blow it off till you're just getting older. Dryness is another symptom of a lot of autoimmune disorders. The dryness could be in your skin, presenting like a psoriasis or eczema, could be in your eyes, causing itchiness, and the eye doctor just gives you eye drops, or could be in your intestines, causing dryness. There's so many symptoms. And a lot of times with MS, it might be muscle weakness. You might be aspirating, which means you are inhaling your liquid that you were going to drink and coughing. You might be getting clumsy, like tripping over your own feet. I was starting to get clumsy and doing a little tripping as well. And a lot of times too, the doctors blow us off. They say, hey, your blood work is okay. So I want you guys to know, persist, get another opinion, go to a specialist, ask for more tests, and reach out to one of us as well. And MS, a lot of times the brain lesion will show up on the MRI, even the MRI without contrast as well. So that's important for people to know. And what did you have other symptoms as well? I believe you had the pain also, right?
Yes. So after that, my vision was real wonky for about 9 months. And I immediately went to juicing and nutrition, and after about 9 months, my vision started to come back. Things were looking clearer again, not so funky. Colors were really funky. But then I was able to really do pretty well for a while with nutrition. And but then it's really hard to stick to real strict diet all the time. It's hard. So I went downhill over the years. Over the past probably 9 years, I started to have a lot of nerve pain. A lot of nerve pain in my arms and my limbs, just really bad, stop you in your tracks pain. And then at the end of the day, it was getting really bad. About 3 years ago, I couldn't even stand at the end of the day in the kitchen. I had to pull a chair into the kitchen to do dishes or cook. Walking upstairs was starting to get really difficult. So I was losing muscle mass, and I was a lot of muscle weakness and a lot of pain. Yeah. So it was pretty daunting.
Nice. And it's important, too, that if you do have MS, you'll also get an MRI of the C-spine to see if the lesions had progressed down the C-spine. Have you had that also as well?
Yes, the lesions were on the brain and the spine. Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah. And I think it's important because a lot of times the doctors, not all of them, I don't want to bash them all, but a lot of them want one symptom and to just work up that one symptom. So they'll be like, fatigue, look, we checked you for anemia. It's not that, you're fine. Or they're not taking account of all your different symptoms and all your different body parts. And that's what confuses them. A lot of them will treat one symptom, one complaint with, here, I ordered 2 tests and it's fine. And then they allow a lot of the women to think you're just getting older, it's your hormones, or they think sometimes the patients are drug seeking or exaggerating to get out of work. And it's not the case.
Right.
And I think, yes, mindset. Can we go into mindset for a quick moment too, maybe?
Absolutely.
I think that's very important.
Yes. It's so important.
Yes. And I think it's important because a lot of people think if they go to the doctor and that's the last stop, and then they go to the specialist and they're like, wait, I'm on 10 drugs now and I'm still not feeling better. This must be as best as it gets. So we are here to show you guys, no, there is a better way. We do things differently. We do mindset and gut health and replace what's deficit and a whole lot of other things. Absolutely. So can you tell us how you kept a strong mindset through it and knew that there had to be something better?
Well, I'm really happy. I think I'm frozen, but I'm really happy you brought that up because meditation has, so nutrition, like, yes, we'll get into nutrition, but meditation really, really helped me a lot to just in staying present, and it helped with the pain. Pretty out there a little bit to talk about, but meditation really helped me with my pain a lot.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Nice. I think mindset's so important. We all meditate different ways. It doesn't have to be Indian style sitting on a yoga mat. It could be, I like to go out to the beach, watch a sunset, just solo and just think about things. So we can all meditate different way. And I think mindset is important to know that there's people like Kristen and myself that were where a lot of you are. We were suffering with all of those symptoms and we're doing absolutely amazing. So there is a will, there is a way. Find us on yes, that could be a part of it as well, definitely. And also gut health is important, right? You want to touch on that for a quick moment?
Absolutely. So yeah, gut health, the connection between the mind and the gut is very strong, and we have to clean up our gut health so that we can absorb nutrients, so that when we are eating good and organic and whatever, so that we can absorb those nutrients. And and our gut health is so it's fragile, and it's vital, and it's fragile, and it's being kind of destroyed with pesticides and herbicides and all the toxins that are in our environment. So it's really important to clean those out, heavy metals, parasites, all of the toxins. It's really important to get all of that out of our gut. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. And I feel a lot of people with autoimmune, their typical meds that they're given purposely weaken their immune system. So those patients going on the traditional meds are traditionally sick more often, longer, with more severe symptoms, and on way more antibiotics. And then that's killing off the good gut biome, microbiome that's in there. So it's important that we need to replace it. And sometimes yogurt's just not enough. When it's cold and it's going into our stomach acids are neutralizing it. The cold might deactivate it. It's important, especially if you have an autoimmune disorder, that you replace that good microbiome that's supposed to be in there, with good probiotics, prebiotics. It could be your sauerkraut. You could use foods for their medicinal purposes. And I believe in a good probiotic that is time released, not refrigerated, has multiple different organisms in there. Virginia says, happy to be here to support you. Yeah, we got lots of comments in there. Thank you guys. Keep them coming in. George, yes, them all over my brain and spinal cord. I don't know what to do about it. Oh, George, stay tuned. We're going to tell you. And at the end, we're going to give you more information where you can stay connected with both of us. And you might need a private consult with one of us too, because it might be a lot more than just this half hour. 80% responsible for our immune system. Yes, gut health. It's important, if we look at it like this, if we get nervous before a test, right, our anxiety could cause us to have nauseous and vomitiness. vomiting. So it's important to know our nervous system controls our gut, but it's a two-way street. The gut sends signals back to the nervous system. And then I really think instead of a two-way street, it's a triad, because when we know we get anxious, our heart might race, right? So we know our nervous system affects our heart, but by the same token, we have to keep our heart healthy to affect our nervous system. So I think everything's a two-way street, and it's really more of a triangle than a two-way street. And what else? I think it's important. So we went over mindset's very important. Believe it's possible. Look at Kristen Marie and I, that we did it. We overcame. We got rid of our symptoms. We reduced and eliminated our symptoms, and we eliminated our need for a prescription. I don't want to say that word. And it's important to start with the mindset, know that it's possible, get the gut health better with probiotics, prebiotics, kefir, yes, definitely, good bacteria. And then also, we know if there's foods that we eat that make us feel worse, there's other foods that we could eat that can help us feel better, right? Because I don't want to be one of those doctors that just says, oh, stay away from this, that. I want to be like, hey, you know what? This might help you feel worse. This might help you feel better. George, brain and spinal cord. Wow, George, I don't know if you have MS and he's trying to say it's in the brain and the spinal cord or the parasites. So important. Thank you both. Thank you, Mary Kate. Katina says they're amazing. Yes, thank you guys. And so I know this too. There's foods that can harm us, foods that can help us. I know people that drink coffee sometimes, they get more acid reflux. So we know that food to stay away from, and maybe replace it with like a natural methylated B vitamin, something that can give them great energy without the acid. And there's also foods that are normally, I have a section in my 90-day program that I like to call food pharmacy. Yes, food is medicine. Kahina, I hope I'm saying that okay. Food is medicine. In my upcoming Reclaim Your Life Super Workshop and the 90-day program, I have a section that goes over mindset, another section that goes over what I call food pharmacy, FARM. And I go into the power of the plants. And there's foods that are natural anti-inflammatories, guys, right? Like use cilantro, cook with that, maybe put that lemon juice on your omega, your wild-caught salmon with your omegas. But also there's foods like garlic that's normally an anti-inflammatory, but people with lupus, it might actually exacerbate a flare-up. Kefir drink, yes. Protein molecule, yep. Protein is good, but we also have to watch it, especially if we have kidney disorders. Someone on here might have lupus, and that could tend to affect your kidneys. So you want to watch your protein intake as well. I also wanted to touch on, since I just mentioned the upcoming Reclaim Super Workshop coming up, and there are sections in there. I'm very passionate about this, guys, and I'll mention it more at the end. Right there, stay tuned. We're going to have Reclaim Your Life Power Hour Super Workshop coming up. Mark your calendars. It's March 26th. It's next Wednesday, 7 p.m. EST for an hour. This month, because it's Heart Health Awareness Month and a lot of autoimmune disorders are causing heart disease, and it's my birthday, I'm gifting the workshop to all the viewers. You don't need a coupon code. You just go to worldwellnessexpert.com/reclaim, claim your seat. It's going to be my 30 years condensed into one packed hour. Stay tuned, get on early, have a notepad on hand. If you guys want to level up to VIP, you also get the replays. You get an extra hour, live Q&A section, a digital and printable workbook, and a mini consultation one-on-one with me at a different time. So, and then that I also have the 90-day program, Reclaim Your Life, that goes into a lot more depth on mindset, food pharmacy. And then, what do you think about genetics and biohacking and some of the newer terms that are out? Can you enlighten us on that a little bit?
Well, epigenetics for sure. Biohacking, I'm not as aware of everything going on there, but epigenetics for sure. I know that when you take a gene that is affected by whatever, if you have a cancer gene or something, and they've put those genes that are affected in an alkaline environment, and then the genes,
yes,
they no longer have whatever ailment is in the gene. So I find that incredible. And my whole thing from the beginning, from 11 years ago, was I need to get to the root of the problem. It was never, I want to mask it with a medication. And that's how I think of everything. Whatever it is, I want to get to the root of it. What is the root cause? And so when I found the root cause of MS and a lot of these autoimmune issues is environmental. It's environmental diseases brought on by the environment, toxins, heavy metals, parasites. And so I learned to clean and detox these things. Every 3 months I do a parasite cleanse, for instance, and certain foods to eat and all of that. And that's how I've done it.
That's important. Because there are a lot of things in the environment. We know, say, that example with the coffee. Coffee might not make us feel well. So there's certain things, especially when you guys have autoimmune disorders, that are triggering. There's things in the environment, and I go through that in the upcoming workshop and more in the 90-day program, that there's certain environmental triggers. There's certain foods that we're eating that are making us feel worse. There are certain drinks that we're drinking that are making us feel worse. And it's important to know your specific triggers, because your trigger might be different for me. Coffee might not bother you, might bother me. So I don't want to just tell you to stay away from these 100 things. I help my clients pinpoint what are triggers for them and what they can replace it with that's healthier. Oh, I just saw a George comment, and the reason why I like the kefir juice. Yes, root cause. Root cause is so important. It's like, if your roof is leaking, you're not just going to put a piece of tape over it, right? It's going to be good for now, like masking tape on a garden hose. And it's not, I always love to get at the root cause. When I had my dry eyes, they're like, here's some re-wetting drops. I'm like, why? Why are my eyes dry? So we have to get at the root cause. If it's an environmental trigger, a food trigger, a drink trigger, if you need to replace your good microbiome, if you need to do a tox cleanse, a parasite cleanse, that's so important to get to the root cause. Other root causes that we didn't get into, well, I wanted to mention that term biohacking. EBV, Epstein-Barr virus, I think that's what George is talking about. I am not... I think a little differently than a lot of people on that. I'll tell you why. 95% of American adults, depending on which study you read, were positive for having the Epstein-Barr virus. So a lot of times when they can't find the reason for your autoimmune disorder, they will blame it on the chronic Epstein-Barr virus. If they can't give you a diagnosis, a lot of times they'll say, oh, you have chronic Epstein-Barr, chronic mono. That to me, honestly, is a very weak, lame excuse. It's like, we don't know what's wrong with you, so we're just going to blame it on EBV because 95% of Americans are positive for that. You know, that's like when a doctor diagnoses you with fibromyalgia, chronic pain. If they're just diagnosing you with the symptom and not the cause of it, then you know what? Run. Run. You know, there's so many people that are diagnosed with chronic pain, fibromyalgia. That's not giving them a cause. So I'm not saying anything against the EBV, but 95% of Americans, or at least 85%, have had it at one point. So I don't think that's the answer for it. I think sometimes we have a genetic tendency, but it's things in the environment that can make us have that gene expressed or not. I know, for instance, say, I don't know, your brother, you have family history of lung cancer and your brother smokes. He's more likely to express that family gene for cancer than if he didn't. So we have the power to suppress and express genes. And I know my grandma taught me this in the 70s about genetic expression. I watched her, right kind of thing to say with the term idiopathic. Yes, idiopathic to me means an idiot doesn't know why. That's just a term. You know what? A lot of times in medicine, they don't know what to do. They'll just diagnose you with idiopathic, EBV, or your symptom pain. My grandma told me in the 70s we can suppress genes. I watched all her siblings have diabetes. She stayed skinny, watched what she ate, stayed off processed food, never expressed that gene for diabetes. And the term biohacking that I brought up earlier, I just want to say it's ways that you can hack your own body to take back the power. If you break up the word bio is like biology, and hacking is to take control over, like you hijack a plane or whatnot. So it's taking control over your own biology. So say Kristen decides not to smoke, she's better her odds of not developing that lung cancer. So there's things you could do and not do to biohack. You can exercise to biohack. You can, I don't know if you know this now, Kristen, we can activate genes and genetic highways. About a dozen or more years ago, I was doing genetic testing just to find out which medicines you metabolize slow and quickly. But now there's ways you can actually activate genes and genetic highways to rev up production of your own good defenses like you used to do when you were younger, before you had all these problems. And I believe that truly attacks the root causes, because some of these root causes are free radicals, creating oxidative stress, cellular inflammation, our mitochondria, right, Kristen? Mitochondria malfunction in our body, and they cause dysfunction, and also the toxins building up. Those are a lot of our root causes. Yes, I'm glad I can touch on the EBV. I don't, Kristen, what you have to say on EBV or mono or Epstein-Barr virus. I know that's a common excuse that doctors have.
Yeah, I mean, I
As a reason.
I do like the medical medium, and what he says about it. He kind of also talks about EBV a lot too. I kind of don't always want to pinpoint it to that, because I think it's just pathogens in general. It's bacteria, viruses, it's pathogens in general, I think, and it's just environmental. So I kind of do use it as an umbrella term, because we all have different things going on. So one thing,
Yes.
you know, my light switch of turning on this MS is going to be different for someone else. And that's why there's so many different autoimmune diseases. We have all these different groupings of different symptoms with different names. But I think it's really all the same cause. And that's pathogens.
Yeah, I think EB might be the trigger in some people. Like, you might have the genetic tendency, the gene for an autoimmune, and maybe the EBV made it express. But I know for me that wasn't the case. I developed mono like most of us do as a teenager, and I didn't have any symptoms till like my 40s, 30s, 40s. So I can't really say that the EB was the trigger for me for my autoimmune. Love this, stimulating stem cells, removing toxins. There's ways we can actually rev up production of our own antioxidants within our body by activating certain genes and highways. This feedback is great. Kristen, what else? We're coming up near the half hour now. I'm sure there's a lot more important things that we want to say, and I don't know what final words you may have.
Well, I would love, we have ways. So people can reach out to us. I have a protocol as well that is all about detoxing and cleansing these parasites and heavy metals. And that's what has worked really for me. Just detoxing every 3 months and getting strict with the foods that I eat. Food is medicine. And so we have a lot of coaching and a lot of ways that we can help people.
I think it's great because we do some things similar and some things differently, that they can complement each other well. Like, I might detox my cells differently than you, but we can benefit from each other's ways that we do it,
Absolutely.
Which I think is pretty cool.
I think what we both have to offer is really amazing.
Oh, so Ron wants to know what helped you the most, and then I'll say what helped me the most.
What helped me the most? I think I also just mentioned it, the parasite cleansing. The parasite cleansing and doing that efficiently every 3 months. I saw a huge shift in my health after my third parasite cleanse. So it was about a year of parasite cleansing, and not constantly, but every 3 months I do this cleanse, and that was profound. I actually felt it was like something lifting and leaving my body. I know that sounds nuts, but that's what it felt like.
Nice.
So that was probably.
And I think for me, wow, what helped me the most wasn't that, because I had not done that. For me, it was activating my genes and my genetic highways, because I looked at, like, Kristen, I want to attack the root causes. The root causes of a lot of our health problems are free radicals causing oxidative stress, which creates cellular inflammation. Inflammation's never good. Our mitochondria malfunctioning and getting destroyed, especially since the protection infection. And our toxins accumulating quicker now than ever with planes, trains, automobiles, and pesticides. So when I activated my genes to reduce cellular inflammation, get rid of the cellular toxins, and make more mitochondria for cellular energy for the cells to live, that rocked my world, changed my life. Right there, I got rid of my pain, my nerve pain, my joint pain. I was happier. I was more energetic. I was more concentrated. The genetic switching and activation, I call it not simple supplementation, but gene activation. That's like, if I had to pick one thing to do, it would be my one thing. Like, yours is a parasite, mine is not simple supplementation, gene activation. And of course, there's always replacing what you're deficit in as well. Methylated Bs are important. Nice. And do you have any other final words? Let me see. I'm sure there's some comments we missed. We're going to come back and okay, there we go. Reclaim Your Life Super Workshop. Yes, I want to invite you guys. Please mark your calendars. Wednesday, February 26th. I normally charge $100 to $200 a seat for this. And this month it's absolutely free. Reclaim Your Life. It's